好 Week 10咧，我哋就要寫篇 formal writing。咁我哋今個禮拜咧就淨係會寫上半 part 嘅啫。嗱，首先睇睇個 writing task 先。佢咧就話咧，我哋咧係一個 committee member of the Film Society in Hong Kong 啦。跟住然之後咧，我哋有一個觀察就係咧，there are fewer people going to cinemas than before，即係少咗人入戲院睇戲喎。咁所以咧，我哋就要寫一封 letter to the editor，給編輯的信。咁然後喺封信度，我哋要講邊兩樣嘢咧？就係 why this is happening，點解會咁樣嘅咧？點解少咗人入戲院睇戲咧？同埋要俾啲建議點樣去 increase the number of moviegoers，即係點樣去提高翻多啲人去入戲院睇戲咧？好嗱，呢度就有個詳盡啲嘅 task analysis 啦。Text type 頭先都講過啦，係一封 letter to the editor。頭先講過給編輯的信，個目的咧就係咧係去說服人嘅。OK，咁所以我哋叫佢做 persuasive writing 啦。然之後咧，因為我哋其實係 general public，即係市民大眾都會睇嘅，所以咧呢篇 letter 咧應該係要正式嘅，係一個 formal tone 去寫嘅。而我哋嘅身份咧就係一個 committee member of the Film Society in Hong Kong，即係香港電影學會嘅一個會員啦。然後最緊要啦就我哋要記住我哋有兩樣嘢要做嘅。首先第一就係解釋點解會少咗人去戲院，同埋咧要提出下一啲建議點樣可以改善呢個情況。好，咁首先睇下一封 letter to the editor，我哋需要有啲咩喺入邊啦。嗱，呢度有封咧係一個example 嘅 letter to the editor，咁個題目就唔係我哋今次寫㗎嚇，呢個只係例子嚟嘅啫。咁呢一篇咧 sample 咧就係關於咧快餐文化嘅。咁你見到呢一封 letter to the editor 入邊咧，一開頭一定會咁樣㗎啦。Dear editor，嗱我哋咧就叫呢一個咧做 greeting，即係同佢打招呼咁樣嘅意思。跟住第一段你要寫啲乜嘢啊？首先咧你就要咧交代下你點解要寫呢封嘢，OK？咁你見到佢呢度咁樣講咯，我之前教過咧，凡係要寫 writing purpose，你就咁樣寫 I'm writing to。做啲乜嘢？咁呢度就我 express my concern about something，即係咧表達我對某事情嘅關注咁樣。跟住啦，喺第一段嘅最尾嗰度，你就要咧講下你嘅立場啦。如果你對某樣嘢係有一個好明顯嘅立場嘅，例如佢呢度咧，佢係話佢係唔贊成快餐，佢係中意傳統嘅煮食嘅，咁所以佢就好明顯就講咗佢嘅立場，就係佢反對快餐文化呢樣嘢，然後佢會俾啲原因解釋點解佢反對啦。咁所以呢個好緊要嘅，喺第一段你要講清楚你個立場啦，跟住你就開始咧講咧你嘅觀點啦。咁呢度你見到佢講咗3個觀點啦，OK？咁每一個觀點咧，佢都用一段去講嘅啫。一開頭嘅時候都會有一啲嘅連接詞，話俾人聽佢開新一個觀點啦。最後啦，就係你要做個總結咯喎。總結嘅時候你要做啲咩咧？你要 restate。咩叫 restate 咧？即係你重新講一次，你重新講一次你嘅立場、你嘅睇法，然後最後就有個簡單嘅總結，即係你希望社會大眾會點做啊，或者你希望政府會點做啊咁樣。最後啦。你就要有一個 closing，咁你就要寫 yours faithfully，跟住你就簽你個名，咁就 OK 㗎啦。好啦，跟住落嚟就睇下咧，到底喺一封咧letter to the editor 入邊咧，我哋通常會有啲咩句式會用得着嘅。嗱，頭先講到咧，開頭我哋先要講下咧自己點解要寫呢封信。咁我哋有一個 formal 嘅 opening，即係一個正式嘅開頭嘅。咁通常會點樣寫咧？就係嗱，如果你係寫封letter to the editor 為咗回應另外一篇文章或者回應另外一封信嘅咧，你就可以咁樣寫 I am writing to reply to 乜嘢，或者 respond to 邊個邊個嘅信，咁就關於乜嘢嘅嗰封信，OK，about something。咁但係嗱，我哋今次其實就唔係講呢樣嘢，我哋就唔係回應緊某一個人封信，所以其實呢個我哋用唔着嘅。但係我哋可以用呢一句，I would like to express my opinion about 或者 concern about something。呢個就幾時用嘅咧？就係當我哋咧寫封信係為咗純粹係講自己對某事情嘅關注，我哋就可以用呢一句啦。OK，咁其實今次咧呢一封 letter to the editor 咧就用呢句會比較啱嘅。 好啦，如果你想表達你自己個人意見嘅時候咧，你就可以用呢一啲嘅 expressions 啦，例如 in my opinion 啊，in my view 啊，from my point of view 啊，或者如果你想講你自己個人嘅經歷，你可以話哦，my experience is that 啊咁樣。咁呢一啲咧都係咧你想表達自己個人意見嘅時候咧，好好用嘅一啲句式嚟嘅。然後，如果當你想去拗一啲嘢，你想去說服你嘅讀者嘅時候咧，你就可以強調你嘅 argument。咁你就可以講啦，哦，I believe that, I think that，即係你深信一樣嘢，或者你好強烈咁樣覺得某一樣嘢咁樣。咁呢個咧就係講緊咧，當你拗一樣嘢嘅時候，你會去用嘅。或者有陣時，如果你想反駁某一啲人講嘅，你可以先講咗人哋講嘅嘢，然後你就話咯，if such was the case，如果事情真係咁，咁跟住咧就有啲咩會發生咧咁樣。咁呢啲句子咧都係咧用嚟咧去argue，去爭拗某樣嘢嘅時候用嘅。嗱，頭先講到有陣時我哋寫 letter to the editor 咧，可能係為咗回應某啲人寫嘅文章啊，或者其他嘅 letter to the editor 啦。咁你可能會同意啦，或者唔同意啦 ，agree 或者 disagree 嘅。咁如果你同意嘅時候嘅，你就可以咁樣寫啦。哦，I'm in favor of 一個人嘅 opinion，或者 I completely support 某個人嘅 opinion。咁如果你唔同意咧，你就可以咁樣寫啦。Oh, I'm afraid I disagree with 邊個嘅 opinion，或者 I'm afraid I do not 或者 cannot agree with 邊個嘅 opinion。嗱，呢個點解會用 I'm afraid 咧？係因為咧想禮貌啲，OK？如果你真係好強烈反對嘅話咧，你都可以咁樣寫嘅，直接。I'm totally opposed to 呢個就冇 I'm afraid 啦。不過咧，呢個其實就比較 rude 啲嘅，比較冇禮貌啲嘅，就唔建議同學咧經常用。好，咁跟住有陣時咧，我哋可能講完某一樣事情嘅原因之後，你就會講啦，啊呢個問題可以點樣解決啊？俾一啲建議啦，suggestions。咁呢個時候咧，我哋咧就可以用呢一啲嘅句式，例如 It might be a good idea to do something，OK？或者 My advice, my recommendation would be，跟住記住咧嗰個動詞係要 ing 㗎嚇，would be doing something。或者 I highly suggest that 邊個可以做啲乜嘢，OK？Should 乜嘢，OK？例如呢個句子可能呢篇文章都啱用嘅就係話，哦，我希望咧嗰啲戲院咧係可以減價，OK？The cinemas should reduce the ticket price 咁樣。咁呢啲都係俾建議嘅時候可以用嘅。最後啦，就要總結啦。頭先講過咧，總結嘅時候咧，你要重申一次你嘅立場啦，然後你可以講下咧，你希望社會各界會做啲乜嘢，或者政府會做啲乜嘢，咁你就可以用呢一啲嘅句式啦。I hope that this letter will encourage，即係你希望你呢封信係為社會會帶嚟一啲影響啦，或者啲人會接納你嘅意見啦，又或者你都希望個政府會 take action 嘅，你就可以話哦，unless the government does something soon，除非政府肯行動啦，如果唔係咧，有啲唔好嘅事就會發生啦咁樣。咁呢一啲咧都係咧寫總結嘅時候咧好好用嘅句子嚟嘅。好，咁講完 letter to the editor 嘅格式同埋一啲常見嘅句式之後咧，就可以翻去我哋嘅題目嗰度，真係諗下啲咩 idea 可以寫啦。嗱，咁頭先講咗啦，我哋咧係要寫封 letter to the editor 啦，要講兩樣嘢就係點解會少咗人去戲院，同埋點樣可以鼓勵多啲人去戲院啊嘛。咁我哋今個禮拜嘅功課咧就係 focus 喺第一部分嘅，就係點解會少咗人去戲院。咁喺我俾啲 idea 大家之前咧，我都想大家咧先睇一段片，然後諗下到底點解會少咗人去戲院呢
？When you look at the Oscar nominees of 2011, you gotta think it was a great year for movies.
Happy endings only happen in the movies.
The story's not over yet.
Wasn't it?
Wow! I know, right?
Not if you ask this guy.
I like reporting on the fun stuff. What I do is I track the box office. Every weekend, the box office derby is my thing.
Paul DeGarabedian is the number cruncher for Hollywood.com.
Last year, 2011, we saw the lowest attendance in 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, in 15 years.
Let's go, kids.
The reasons could fill the seats of an empty movie theater.
Let's go see the movie.
The economy, that's one of the things I think that comes into play. When people are really having a hard time filling their wallet, you have to pick and choose what you're going to spend your money on.
In the pre-TV glory days, movies were just about the only choice. The thrill of shared emotions, fantasizing, dreaming with eyes open and hearts full. In fact, 1946, the year the best years of our lives came out, really was the best year ever for movies.
Hello, Homer. Hi, Steve. Boy, am I happy to see you back home again. Oh, go ahead, shake, pal. I won't bite you.
About 60% of Americans went to the theaters every week. Today, there are countless diversions. The crowds are smaller and very different.
The population that is going to movies less than they used to is clearly young men.
Sharon Waxman runs The Wrap, a must-read blog for Hollywood insiders.
Those people are now increasingly going to video games and spending time on YouTube and spending time on Facebook.
And like Jeremy Ramuto in Oxford, Mississippi, renting movies instead of buying tickets.
I think it's $8 for the movies, for one movie, and then it's $1.20 for one here. And then you're at the comfort of your own home. Especially if you got a big screen TV and surround, same thing.
Some theater owners have picked up on that and tried to bring the comforts of home and then some to the multiplex. iPic Entertainment VP Mark Mulcahy says attendance at his theaters was up in 2011.
Waiters and waitresses in the theater.
That's correct. They're actually trained to work in this dark environment. They're like ninjas.
But experts say what's served in seat counts less than what's showing on screens.
I think it ultimately comes back to the movie.
The quality of the movie.
The quality of the movie.
Joe Piccirillo is a former studio exec and independent producer. Today, he leads the undergraduate department of film and TV at New York University's Tisch School. He knows the first lesson of Hollywood.
Profit and successful box office trumps great reviews and Oscars all the time.
Yes, tonight's favorites made money. The Artist, $73 million. Hugo, $107 million. The Descendants, $144 million. But what brings in the big crowds and big money are the so-called tentpole movies, like Avatar, that draw men and women, kids and adults, and bring in over $300 million. In 2011, there were not enough blockbusters.
How could that be when you have a Harry Potter, a Pirates of the Caribbean, a Twilight, all released in the same year?
Because there were a lot of other movies in that vein that didn't work.
There were about four $300 million or more grossing movies in 2010. There were only two in 2011.
Two. That makes...
It makes a difference.
Patrick Corcoran heads media and research at the National Association of Theater Owners.
It's essentially the product. I think that's what happens every year. It's whether we have an up year or a down year. It's always going to be about what's in the theaters themselves.
And here's the tricky part. What ends up in theaters today isn't necessarily dictated by the folks on Main Street, but by movie fans across the globe. Hollywood journalist Sharon Waxman.
We generally look at the domestic box office. That's also a fallacy because most of the money, 2/3 of the money, is now coming from international.
And earlier this month, a sign of the movie times, a deal to show more American movies in China, with consequences back home.
Subtitles are not the easiest thing for people to watch, so if the words aren't as important and the visuals are really driving it and the explosions, then that helps it overseas.
But wait a minute, stop the action, cut! Thanks to some new, popular films, plus mild weather, and whatever it is that movie marketers can't bottle but worship.
We're way up, we're 18% ahead of last year at this time, so box office has been booming right now.
Maybe nothing has changed from silent movies to talkies.
Goodbye.
From black and white to color. Make a popular movie, and people like Veronica Torrey will come.
The movies is a great place to get away, go see a movie, especially after a hard week of class, and just come to the movie, get some popcorn, even though it is overly priced, but it's all right. Live it up for the weekend.
好，喺頭先嗰段片咧，同學可能都會聽到有一啲字咧係關於咧點解會少咗人去戲院嘅。例如有啲人咧就會覺得咧，哦，睇戲太貴啦。咁因為咧其實有好多其他嘅 alternative 即係其他選擇咁解。咁而呢一啲選擇咧都係平啲嘅 cheaper。例如頭先有個男仔咧就係租電影啦。咁其實租電影就會比你買飛入戲院睇就會平好多啦。咁另外一個原因咧就係咧，電影嘅質素差咗啦，質素英文係 quality，OK，咁就令到啲人咧就唔想俾錢入戲院睇戲啦。另外一個原因咧就係可能多咗咧entertainment options，即係多咗娛樂嘅選擇啦。我哋有 Netflix 啊，又有 YouTube，我哋根本唔需要咧為咗娛樂自己咧就下去電影院嗰度睇戲嘅。好，咁以上提到嘅咧就係一啲同學可以講，就係解釋點解會少咗人去戲院嘅一啲 point 啦。咁當然同學都可以諗自己嘅 point 嘅。咁而家咧我哋就開始學點樣寫啦。好，咁呢個就係個 outline 啦。嗱，首先咧我哋要有 greeting 啦，即係要寫 Dear Editor 啦。咁跟住然之後咧，我哋就要有個 introduction，即係簡介，我哋就要解釋下自己寫信嘅目的啦。I'm writing to express my great concern about。咁今次我哋就 about the phenomena that fewer people are going to cinemas，即係咧少咗人去戲院呢一個現象啦。咁樣你可以用翻題目嘅字去幫你嘅。跟住第二段咧，你就要開始俾原因啦。點解會少咗人去戲院？你可以咁樣寫 ：There are many reasons explaining why fewer people go to cinemas than before。有好多原因嘅。第一個原因就係 the first reason is that 咁樣。嗱，記住咧，每個原因咧都應該要有詳盡嘅 supporting details， 即係要有詳細嘅解釋。然後咧，你要俾2至3個原因，每個原因寫一段嘅啫。OK， 就冇一段寫好多個原因啦。跟住咧講完原因咧，就係俾啲 solutions 啊，點樣去解決呢個問題啊？點樣去鼓勵多啲人去戲院睇戲啊？咁你哋可以咁樣寫啦。To tackle with the problem, we have to face the fact it is necessary that OK，我哋有需要做啲乜嘢啊？咁跟住最後啦，就有個總結啦，就係你希望社會各界會做啲乜嘢，你希望政府會做啲乜嘢咁樣。嗱，咁我哋今個禮拜功課咧，其實就淨係 focus 喺咧頭嗰2部分嘅啫，即係 introduction 啦，同埋點解人會少咗去戲院。OK， 即係講 reasons 呢個部分。solutions 咧同埋總結咧，我哋就下個禮拜嘅 focus 嚟嘅。OK。咁好啦，我哋要寫原因啊嘛，到底點樣可以寫到長啲嘅一個原因啊？嗱，呢度就有個例子俾大家啦。例如，如果你想講你第一個原因點解啲人會少咗去戲院，係因為睇戲太貴。你首先咧，嗱，寫第一個原因之前，你可以俾個開場白自己先嘅，你就咁樣講。哦，There are many reasons explaining why fewer people go to cinemas than before 咁樣。第二個原因開始就唔使寫呢句㗎，呢個喺第一個原因嘅時候先講嘅啫。跟住你就講我第一個原因係點 ？OK， 咁個 topic sentence 就係 The first reason is that watching movies is expensive 咁樣咯。呢個就係你個 point。OK， 就係呢個你個 point 啦，就係話哦睇戲好貴。咁然後你就要 explain 喎，同埋要俾 example 喎。你要講點解貴會令到人唔想去戲院睇戲啊？咁點貴法啊 ？How？OK， 諗下 how 呢一個字。OK， 咁你可以咁樣講咯，就話哦，原來咧而家咧，其實睇戲咧對於有啲人咧係一個奢侈嚟嘅咁樣。Nowadays watching movies can be a luxury to some people。luxury 呢個字咧就係奢侈咁樣嘅意思啦。咁跟住然之後咧，你就可以講話點解啊？因為我可能一張戲飛都已經成150蚊港紙啦，咁樣如果 3D 嘅咧要再貴啲添咁。跟住你就可以咧俾個意見啦。嗱，俾意見咧，我哋好多時可以用呢一個嘅 It is adjective 加 for 加一個人 to do something， 即係點咧？你可以咁樣寫咯。It is not easy for people to afford such expensive tickets。即係要買啲咁嘅戲飛咧係唔容易嘅。afford 呢個就係負擔咁嘅意思，要負擔起呢啲戲飛咧係咁貴嘅戲飛係唔容易嘅。咁跟住我哋就講啦，哦，咁啲人唔入戲院睇戲咁啊點啊？因為有好多唔同嘅選擇啊嘛，可以租碟睇啦，可以上網 download 啲片嚟睇啦，係咪啊？所以 on the contrary， 即係相反地 我哋而家有 internet，我哋有好多好平嘅選擇。Online movie watching will not put any financial burden on people。呢一啲網上邊嘅電影就唔會為人帶嚟財政上嘅負擔啦，唔使嘥咁多錢去睇啦。咁然後你可以舉下啲例子啦，用下 not only but also 啦，OK， 即係不但而且咁嘅意思啊。not only but also， 你就話哦，而家咧有好多唔同嘅網站咧都可以俾人哋免費睇戲㗎，唔單止係呢啲網站，仲有 but also 仲有啲 app 啊 application， 即係啲 app 啊。其實我哋而家仲有啲 app 咧，都係可以咧 download 落去我哋嘅手提電話嗰度，然之後咧就令到咧 online movie watching 咧係好容易，同埋咧好方便嘅。OK， 咁所以就更加唔想再嘥錢去入戲院睇戲啦。然後你就可以俾個 example 咯，你可以用你自己嘅個人經歷啦，OK， 你都可以用你嘅 friend 嘅經歷啦去做一個例子啦，又或者用新聞啦，又或者用 research 去做例子都得嘅，之前教過啦。寫完一個原因咧，就可以去下一個原因啦，都係一樣嘅啫，又係 PEE 三樣嘢。咁可能譬如你第二個 point 係哦，因為啲電影質素下降咗咁你就直接開始就the second reason causing the declining number of moviegoers is that the quality of movie is going down, or the quality of movie now is not as high as before 咁樣。咁咧，記住咧，你就唔需要再講啦。there are many reasons 嘅，因為呢個我哋頭先已經講咗啦。你直接講 the second reason is 咁樣就可以㗎啦。咁跟住你又係講啦，點解電影質素下降會令到啲人唔想去睇戲啊？又係諗下 how 呢個問題啦，點差法啊 ？OK， 你可以講下啲而家嘅電影通常啲內容會點樣令到你唔想去睇啊咁樣啦。咁跟住然之後咧，你就講到哦，因為電影質素差咗啦，咁所以咧啲人咧都唔想再嘥錢咧去入戲院睇戲啦，覺得係一個 waste of money 啦，即係浪費金錢啦咁。咁跟住然之後咧，又係啦，俾例子啦，你可以直頭舉一個電影嘅例，即係你覺得哇，真係爛片嚟嘅，咁所以咧冇人想去睇啦咁樣。咁又係啦，用個人嘅經驗又得啦，用朋友嘅經驗都可以去做例子嘅。咁咧你就講咗第二個原因點解會少咗人去戲院啦，跟住然後你再寫第三個原因咧，都係 repeat 翻呢一個程序嘅啫。好啦，跟住以下咧就有一啲句子咧，就係可能咧同學咧喺寫呢一篇文章嘅時候可能會用得着嘅。嗱，咁唔需要抄嘅，因為呢一啲句子咧全部喺晒你哋個 writing booklet 嗰度有㗎啦，喺 Schoology 嗰度嗰本 writing booklet。咁你 download 翻咧就會有翻呢啲句子，咁可以睇下有冇啲咩句子係啱用，就可以用落喺自己篇文章嗰度。好，咁重複一次啦，我哋今個禮拜嘅功課咧就係你要寫我哋呢一個 formal writing 嘅 first part， 即係話咧你要寫 introduction 同埋點解會少咗人去戲院睇戲，記住要俾2至3個 reasons， 咁就禮拜5前交啦。然後咧你要寫250字嘅 ，OK？ 咁如果有啲咩問題咧就可以 WhatsApp 問我。今個影片就去到呢一度。